Boxing Ego here. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon on the top of your screen to get notified when the latest new content drops.
I take on Lipinets right now, right? Then I take Linares, and then at the end of the year, we take Spence.
Are you serious?
What about that?
There we go.
You don't like it?
I don't like that fight. I don't like the Spence fight for you right now. No.
I believe in myself so much because I know what I'm capable of doing. My brother believes in me because he sees me every day. My dad sees me. The team members see me. The average people have only seen me maybe 10 times because they haven't followed me enough in my career. And the only times that they see me are the times that in my fight. You know, and even in those fights, I don't show everything that I can do. But we know I'm a lot more than what people have seen. And that's why I believe I can do very well against them, and I can beat them.
All right, so there we go. If you guys are watching or listening in, this is what Mikey wants, okay? Lipinets at 140, Linares at 35, and then at the end of the year, go to 47 to fight Spence or Errol Spence. Yep. If you're watching this, you're listening in, Mikey Garcia wants you at the end of the year, Errol Spence. Ain't no sometime Thurman here. This is Mikey Garcia.
Mikey Garcia says he's down to fight Sergey Lipinets, maybe a tune-up, and then Errol Spence Jr. Stay tuned. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also, subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang, notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the super chats, channel donations, the Venmo donations, and the Patreon family. We working. Now, you guys heard the audio at the beginning of this clip, and that was Mikey Garcia. And he had some very interesting things to say regarding his future, I guess you could say. And kind of has people a bit, I guess, questioning his seriousness. Shout out to SoCal Boxing Report. That's the radio podcast that he was on where he said this. And you heard him. He said Lipinets obviously got rescheduled to a month later. It's still happening in San Antonio, different venue. And I think he said something about another fight. And then he would like to fight Errol Spence Jr. Him and his team, they believe in themselves. He says, I'm taking Sergey Lipinets now, then Jorge Linares, and at the end of the year, I take Errol Spence Jr. He says, I believe in myself because I know what I'm capable of doing. My brother believes in me because he sees me every day, etc. I mean, you guys heard it. So, I want to give my thoughts real quick. I don't really see it being a reality, even though Mikey Garcia, he doesn't necessarily have a promoter, but he's been working with Showtime his last few fights since he came back from the top-ranked layoff. But it's just, I don't see it happening. One, it's a dangerous fight for Mikey Garcia. Mikey Garcia, met him, Errol Spence, all of them. And off the eye test, I would say Mikey Garcia is definitely shorter than Errol Spence Jr. Let's say Mikey Garcia is like 5'6". Errol Spence is closer to the 5'8.5", 5'9"-ish, you know what I mean? Range, somewhere right in there off the eye test. So that plus the weight deficit, Errol Spence, if I'm not mistaken, in the amateurs, he was fighting at 152. As a pro, he's fighting at the 147 mark. He's clearly strong. You know what I mean? Guys like Lamont Peterson, who's a terrific fighter, lost every round and really had nothing for him. And when Lamont Peterson hit him, he was like smiling and kept pushing forward, right? Even guys like Kell Brook, who have a noted punch. I mean, he went through everything that Kell Brook dished out. So size-wise, I don't see it making sense for Mikey Garcia. And the other thing is, I remember seeing an interview with Mikey's trainer / brother, Robert Garcia, and he says he doesn't want Mikey going above 140, aka he doesn't want Mikey going to 147. So if your own trainer / family member is advising you not to go to welterweight, then how's this fight gonna happen? Especially to fight the guy who's arguably the best welterweight. I think he's the best welterweight. I mean, it's either him or Terrence Crawford, but you know what I mean? Obviously, I got to see Terrence Crawford fight just because I have faith in him and I think he's going to do good. But, you know what I mean, we still got to see it because what if he takes a punch different? What if his power doesn't transition the same? You know what I mean? But Errol Spence at this point is at least a proven welterweight and a proven commodity. No longer are the days where you can say, "Oh, Errol he ain't fought no one. He just fought Phil LaGreco and Chris Algier." You can't say that because his last 2 fights have been good names and the same outcome. He stopped them. You know what I mean? And he actually looked better this fight. So it looks like the Kell Brook fight, he, you know what I mean? He I'm not gonna say he struggled, but he lost some of the early rounds. You know what I mean? He just dominated Lamont Peterson like it was nothing. And I told you guys, I'm a man of my word. I told you that beforehand on Twitter. If you guys follow me, at BOXINGEGO, I said if Errol Spence goes out and makes this look like a beatdown and one-sided and non-competitive, then this dude is a super beast. You know what I mean? And I'm going to give him a lot of props because I picked him to win, but I didn't know he would win every single round, every single spot of every single round. You know what I'm saying? Like to the point where it was a whitewash. It was one-sided. So as far as Mikey Garcia, I really don't see it. I don't see it happening. Like I said, his own trainer's brother is talking about he don't want Mikey fighting higher than 140. And to me, that seems I don't know if he was saying, if Mikey, I'm not trying to doubt a fighter, but I don't know if he was saying it for publicity, but it doesn't make sense to fight Sergey Lipinets at 140, drop back down to 135 and fight Jorge Linares, and then move all the way back up and fight 147. That doesn't make sense. It'd be one thing if you fought in a different order, like you fought you fought Linares at 35, moved up to 40 for Sergey Lipinets, and then maybe fought another guy at 47 and then Errol Spence. But to flex your weight like that sounds crazy, because you would be going from 140, 135 to 147. You know what I mean? And in my opinion, this is just my opinion, I respect Mikey Garcia. No one can take away his heart and things like that. But without acclimating your body, there's going to be certain things when guys are naturally bigger and skilled as well that you're going to easily deal with. Because Broner was the man at 135, but he jumped up 2 weight classes and struggled a bit with Paulie Malignaggi, who's not even the biggest puncher, who, if you look at it, if Paulie Malignaggi would have fought Keith Thurman, if he would have fought this version of Errol Spence Jr., there's no way Paulie Malignaggi would have beat them guys, in my opinion. And yet Broner, based on him moving up 2 weight classes suddenly, he had a tough fight with Paulie Malignaggi because he wasn't an established welterweight. You know what I'm saying? And then obviously the Maidana fight, he lost that, and then he lost to Sean Porter at a catchweight of welterweight catchweight. You know what I mean? So it's, I don't know, it's just looking real dangerous for Mikey Garcia. You know what I mean? Real dangerous, because he's talented, but to jump from 140 to 135 back up past the weights you've even fought at to 147 to fight a guy like Errol Spence Jr., it's not making sense. You know what I mean? I don't see it. I don't see it happening at all. And you can even hear at the podcast, the SoCal Boxing Report, they said, and it looked like they're Mexican American, the host, if you actually see the video, and he said, "Nah, I don't like that fight for you, Mikey." He said it to Mikey. He says, "I don't like that fight for you with Spence. Not now." You know what I mean? But I mean, props to Mikey Garcia. He's called out Keith Thurman, and I wonder why he hasn't called out Terrence Crawford, because they have an amateur, you know what I mean, little rivalry and stuff like that. That would be a good fight. But it's gonna be interesting. Obviously, he has to get past Sergey Lipinets and Linares if he fights him. You know what I mean? Those are definitely tough fights before we can even consider an Errol Spence Jr. fight being realistic. But the fighters, they gotta get with their team and like really orchestrate a working game plan that makes sense. And to me, all these fighters daring to be great, jumping up 2 weight classes, that's just for the bird. You know what I mean? They should really establish. I mean, look at Kell Brook. Kell Brook's fighting Rabies or Rabchenko, whatever his name is. You know what I mean? Because he took a dumb fight with Golovkin, jumped up 2 weight classes. Then he had to fight his mandatory, a killer, Errol Spence Jr. And now he's moving up to another weight category, and he's fighting against a guy no one even knows. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, he did an interview talking about it's a 50-50 fight. That's bad. If you fighting a guy no one knows and you talk about, I sparred him before and it's a 50-50 fight, then that's not good. Versus Kell Brook, if he never jumped up to weight classes to fight Golovkin, then let's say he just fought Spence and lost to him, then at least he only has one eye injury. You know what I mean? And maybe he doesn't even get that. We don't know. You know what I mean? We don't know, because sometimes when, like and I'm not trying to get too deep into this, but like let's say Gennady Golovkin, he fractured his other eye, then that makes the other, because it's part of your skull, I would assume it would make the other side more susceptible or more vulnerable to that same sort of injury. You know what I mean? You fought an orthodox puncher, then you fought a southpaw puncher. Since one side was damaged, it probably made the whole skull, or the whole, you know what I mean, all your eyes and all your sockets and shit more vulnerable. But as Mikey Garcia, as far as him, see, this is the thing. I mean, if Mikey wants to smoke with Errol Spence and he's serious, I mean, fuck it, I would watch it. I would watch any fight with, you know what I mean, with the big names. I'm just saying it doesn't make sense. I don't get in the way of good fights. So if he feels that confident that he can beat Errol Spence, that's cool. And you know, it's a little bit sad. It's a little bit sad that a guy who's a champion at lightweight is talking about fighting Errol Spence Jr., yet Keith Thurman, a champion in the weight division that Errol Spence is establishing his brand, he's not even really talking about him. But you're talking about actual guys not even in the division talking about fighting Errol Spence. I feel like Keith Thurman, he should be the one, you know what I mean, because he's a champion and he's the one probably being called out the most by Errol Spence Jr. So the game is all twisted, people. Let me know what you guys think. Mikey versus Errol Spence Jr. Don't see that being a good fight for Mikey Garcia. But again, I'm a boxing fan, so if he wants that wreck and he has faith in himself, and Robert Garcia and them have faith in themselves to make the fight, fuck it, I'll watch it. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Make sure you smash the like button as always. Hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video, is Ego signing off. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.